What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Row Access. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Row Access. So this is a video that I'm just going to put out on my channel since it's already got some traction. Got a bunch of other videos coming about welding, so stay tuned for those. But I wanted to throw this together real quick because my brother and I back here, this is Dustin.
What's up, guys?
If you've been watching along on Instagram, I know I talk about it a lot. I did some single hand work in Idaho, then I did some in Kentucky, and then been off for a few weeks, been back home. And so while I was home, my brother smacked a deer with his truck. So it's a 2015 Ram 1500 Tradesman. So the Tradesman has a plastic bumper, which you can kind of see the part of it back there. I'll show some pictures of it, but I'm hoping that this will help out some people that are also kind of in the same situation. We decided to go with a chrome bumper on the front of it when we changed it over, so we put a chrome bumper on the back instead of the paint matched one. Chrome one going on the front, and I just wanted to show the differences and how to mount it because there's not really a bunch of videos out there for it. So this is going to be a little different video than welding, but it's a good idea for those people that are out there looking for it. And if you're here finding me off of a search for Ram parts, follow my welding stuff. But anyway, I'm going to show you real quick the differences in the plastic and the steel bumper, the brackets. We don't have the fog light brackets yet, but we want to go ahead and get the bumper on so it just gets off the old one. We just cut it off with a grinder and tried to clean it up a little bit so it wasn't just flapping. We were just waiting on parts. But anyway, we'll go through and show you the parts that you need and put it on and hopefully to help you guys out. So this is what you'll see when you pull off the plastic bumper. There's this plastic absorber, which has the fog light harness in it that runs across, and so that'll plug in underneath here. These are your headlight wires, so not doing this whole video about how to pull the front bumper off. There's plenty of stuff on that, I feel like. Basically, the front bumper valance that goes on top has like a bolt there. It clips into these little tabs. You can figure that stuff out. Here's the top part of the plastic bumper, which is actually replaced with a plastic valance in the back of the truck. You'll see it's black, but it's basically just this top part. But this is what's left over after we chopped it up. But yeah, there's like a bolt. There's a couple clips on the factory one. This is the factory bumper, like the bumperette shock absorber that goes behind the plastic bumper. With the steel bumper, it's just going to take most of the shock on its own, so there's just some adapter brackets. And so when you get your brackets in, they're pretty cheap. They're like 40 bucks for the pair, and then there's another little attachment that goes off to the side to mount your fog lights in, which I think we'll be able to get on with the bumper on. But if not, it's literally just going to be these 3 bolts, pull out some tabs for the plastic. The headlights come out with just these 2 bolts and pop out under your wires. And so the biggest differences here are just going to be that instead of having that whole long shock absorber piece, it just has 2 brackets. So we'll go inside the shop and show you those 2 brackets that go on the steel bumper. And once you get that bolted on, then your little plastic valance will just snap in at the top, put your grill back on, and it's good to go. So got a bunch of projects going on in here, rebuilding the motor to go on one of our boats. But here's the 2 brackets that you'll get to come in. If you look on the headlights on the truck, these 2 bolts, because it'll come with these 3 bolts and then this little small shock absorber type thing that kind of hides behind the bumper. The side that has the 2 bolts will go towards the outside. So this is the driver's side, passenger side, I think. It's upside down. But the bolts that are vertical on top of each other will be the ones that go to the outside, which you'll see when you pull your other ones off. But literally all you need for the bumper conversion is the bumper. And these are the bumper brackets. And then, like I said, there's 2 little bolts that go on here that have an attachment to put the fog lights in. It did not come with bolts to bolt it to the bumper. Luckily, we had some in our bolt bin back here, but these are just some little 3/8 stainless bolts that we had in the shop. But there's 2 bolts there on the bottom side. There's a bolt here and a bolt there on the top side. And then if you roll it over, you'll see just that little tab. And so that little tab will line up on the outside of this. Now, we did get these brackets off eBay. I can put a link in the description if you want to get them from there, but these came in actually damaged, and so we had to bend back. Like, this whole tab was bent like almost at a 90-degree out to the side. Had to tweak some of these tabs. These didn't really exactly line up. Like, that one was completely bent out of shape. So just be careful where you order them from. If you order them from Mopar OEM, I would assume that they're going to come back better. But we did have to put them in the vise and straighten them up. But once we got them closed, put the bolts in, pulled it up with the impact, and that got it on there. So now we're going to toss it on the truck, and you'll see a nice chrome shiny bumper on the front. But we're just trying to, like I said, get that plastic bumper off. I'll show you real quick. Also forgot to add earlier, so with the fog light harness, it does plug in on the driver's side. There's your main plug that goes back to the truck harness, and this is the one that goes down to the fog light. It's just pushed into these little holes on the old bumper, little absorber thing with these little Christmas tree pins. And so if you look at the top of your new bumper, it's going to have these holes. So we're just going to push it into those, and then we'll just zip tie it back to this until we get the fog light brackets in. But should be able just to tuck the harness underneath there, and then you'll have it whenever you put your fog lights in. And if you have the brackets like we don't, then you can just go ahead and plug all that stuff up. So there seems to be a little bit more slack in the harness on here than there was on that plastic deal. Measuring back from where the other fog light hole lined up, it was basically about a foot back. So I went to this hole with the first pin. So it's about where the wire's join up for the main harness versus this fog light. But a little bit more slack in there, but it'll be hid behind the bumper, so not too big of a deal. Now let's throw it on the truck. How it came out. So I did say, you can't see it now with the valence, but there's one more hole that's further down this way with that fog light harness, and it put the T, I don't know if you can see it in there. Nope, can't see it. It put the branch in the wires a little bit further this way than I'd like. So go to that last hole and probably pull that slack back a little bit that I was talking about. But so on the steel bumper, put your last little Christmas tree pin on the last hole down here and line them all the way up. But it still worked. It's just stretched out a little bit longer than I want. But we're gonna get this painted, but at least now it's got a chrome bumper, and then the back bumper being chrome too. The chrome bumper doesn't have cutouts for the exhaust like the painted one does, so he had his exhaust tips rerouted, but the chrome bumper looks a lot better than the painted one. And so now just the process of putting the grill back on. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of that. I might just time lapse it real quick just to show, but putting the grill on is just those few bolts at the top, and it's all good to go. And if nothing else, at least the trim is on there, and get that little piece painted and be good to go. So peace out. See y'all on the next one.